cultural differences they have to get used to. Like, I find it fascinating how here in Toronto, people will order pizza by the whole and eat it sober. They have snarky bums here in Toronto, and I don't like that, and I don't think I'll ever get used to that. I came out of the Eaton Centre, and this guy asked me for some change, and I had a handful, so I just give it to him. He starts picking out pennies and nickels and throwing them in the street. Anything less than a quarter. I give him a bit of a look, right? And he looks at me and says, "What? You think you're better than me?" I said, "I think I'm doing better than you."
You car, or you buy a condo, will you repent of your sin? All heaven will rejoice. All heaven, that's a lot of people. Yeah.
Forget and often blame the woman for wearing that, something that you deserve that, etc.
Right.
Do you see a correlation between, personally, do you have an issue with that?
Do you have an issue with a woman dressing like a prostitute?
No. Would you find a way to possibly, forgive me for putting you on the spot here, would you possibly word a way to blame the woman if she was raped for wearing the dress?
Well, I mean, he caused a liability. So he's totally wrong, and ultimately there's no blame. But in one sense, you kind of opened yourself to the issue. Have you not? So, I mean...
Another funny thing about Toronto is that Prince lives here. Prince manages to sleep with so many beautiful women, and I don't really get that, right? Women they go crazy for Prince. But I've always thought of him as being sort of like small, feminine, wears a lot of makeup. In a weird way, he's my ideal woman, right?
Dozens of people took part in the rally near Blorin Avenue to speak out against the ongoing Israeli air and ground offensive in Gaza. Demonstrators also spoke out against the Harper government's support of Israel.
A lot of people have been following the news and hearing what's going on, and with over 300 people killed and over 50 kids who've been murdered by this bombing, I think enough is enough. Like you said, it needs to stop. Israel needs to pull out.
Brick by brick, wall by wall, Israeli apartheid has to fall. From Iraq to Palestine. From Iraq to Palestine. From Iraq to Palestine.
One other salient fact. According to a recent Dominion Institute poll, a majority of Canadians have no idea how Parliament works, which is fine. We're all very busy people. We have lives to lead, families to raise. We're on hold with Rogers, and to be honest, it is perfectly understandable to enjoy something without knowing how it works. Such is Canada. After decades of stability, we were suddenly faced with minority governments, talk of coalitions, and the threat of an election every 6.5 weeks. But we took solace in the fact that we are one of the greatest democracies on this earth, and at least we know who is ultimately in charge. Well, not really. When asked, who is Canada's head of state, 75% of Canadians could not answer the question. And who can blame them? The answer is ridiculous. It is the Queen of England. Now, for those of you unaware of her work, she's an elderly lady of German descent who lives in a castle across the ocean. In fact, in order to become a Canadian citizen, you must swear an oath of loyalty to the Queen and her heirs. Luckily, I was born here, so I've never had to do it. Now, unfortunately, the Queen is a very busy woman. Although, granted, it may not seem like it yet. So, who runs this great democracy? Well, according to the polling, a majority of Canadians believe that Stephen Harper was elected directly by the people of Canada to run this country. Unfortunately for Stephen, that's not true. He holds the office of Prime Minister.
PEI, a TV icon across Canada. But in Canada and in PEI, when you mistakenly believe that public recognition means importance and that privilege means entitlement, you're already on the threshold of humiliation. The smallest scandal is enough to push you over.
But we're afraid to ask. God save the Queen.